Most people will get tired between 2 and 4 p.m. And if you scroll around social media enough, you'll be scared and think that this is a bad thing. And you'll get a lot of mixed opinions as to why this happens, such as poor thyroid health or a sudden blood sugar crash because you had a high carbohydrate breakfast. And now this may be true in a very small subset of the population, such as individuals who suffer from reactive hypoglycemia, which is a condition in which someone's body releases too much of the hormone insulin, which pulls glucose out of the bloodstream, and not enough of the hormone glucagon, which will put glucose into the bloodstream, which leads to their blood glucose levels getting too low after a meal, which is called reactive hypoglycemia. However, in healthy people, it's fairly rare and is much more common in someone with diabetes. And reactive hypoglycemia is a condition that you would know if you had, because it would happen after the ingestion of most of your meals. The most likely reason that we get tired in the afternoon is simply because of the natural production of cortisol. Contrary to what many self-proclaimed hormone specialists will say, having high cortisol levels at the right time of the day is actually a good thing. The highest levels of cortisol will occur in the morning. And typically, the higher they go in the morning, the lower they will be prior to bed, which promotes deeper sleep. And if you really look at it, between 3 and 5 p.m., we have fairly low cortisol levels, and it will continue to decline until it gets to its lowest point prior to sleep. And once again, this is an extremely good thing because it allows us to get more restful, deeper sleep. And this blue blob at the top of the screen is someone with high cortisol. And around 2 to 3 p.m., their cortisol will do the opposite, and it will actually drastically increase, which makes them feel extremely energetic in the late afternoon, which inhibits the production of a sleep-promoting hormone called melatonin, meaning it's more difficult to fall asleep and they have worse sleep quality, which will make the high cortisol even worse because poor sleep will increase daytime cortisol. And I understand we look at this midday crash as a bad thing, but it may simply be an indication that you have a healthy cortisol pattern. And this lower cortisol in the mid-afternoon can actually promote deeper sleep. So we may actually want this lower cortisol in the mid-afternoon. So what you can do is simply move your mentally and physically demanding tasks towards the early morning when you have the highest levels of cortisol, and move more of your creative tasks towards the mid-afternoon, because having lower cortisol will likely not impact these tasks as much. And another thing that this means is you don't need to spend tons of money on different lab tests to understand why you may feel tired in the mid-afternoon. Because if you're energetic in the morning and you're getting high-quality sleep, it may simply mean that your body has a healthy cortisol pattern. And if you really want to combat this, simply getting outside in the sunlight can help increase your cortisol levels slightly. But the exposure of sunlight to our eyes during the day can actually help increase the production of melatonin during the night. Therefore, getting your increase in cortisol via sun exposure may not have as detrimental of impacts towards your sleep quality as something like a workout or caffeine would in the afternoon. And if you want to learn how to take control of your health and energy, send me a DM to sign up for coaching.